How's it going? Jason here, another short Bubble tutorial on how to make customized buttons when you're saving records in your Bubble database. So you might have seen this particularly in mobile apps. When you click a save button, the save button is the only thing that notifies you that a record has been saved. There's a billion ways to do this, but if you have a compact user interface or if you just think it looks cooler, here's how you can do it. Okay, so I have a simple pop-up for adding an artist, and this is the button that I want to customize to notify the user that actions either worked or they didn't work. So on the button, when you click on it, click the little I button here, and this is your custom state. It's your element inspector, but it's going to show you all the custom states that you have. And a custom state is basically just something where you can store a little bit of data and you can access that custom state anywhere on the page. So I'm going to call this state. I'm going to set it to text. The default value is empty. And then you need to add all of your conditions. So I've got this one to be pretty simple. And what I want it to do is when I click save, I want to show a message that the record is being saved. So the condition is when this button state is saving. And this is just custom text. Like I said, this has to match whatever you're going to use in your custom state here. So when this is saving, change the text to saving, change the background color to this. When the button state is saved, change the text to this and that, and the same for error. If it's error, then change it to this and change it to that. So this is the only error that I'm checking for. This design will work really well if you've got simple interactions, but if you have more complex error messages, then maybe go the traditional route. So now that I have these states set up, I need to create a workflow that actually sets the custom state to these values so it will modify the button. So I'm going to right click, go into Start Workflow. And the first thing is to change the state of that button to saving. So this is going to change that save to the word saving, and then it's going to change it to that yellow background color. There's a few ways to create the workflow. I'm going to go with the success option first. So the happy path, I'm going to create a new thing. I'm going to create a new artist, and I want to set the artist name to be whatever the value of that input is. Now, in order to avoid duplicates and to make the error checking work, I only want to do this when the record doesn't exist. So I need to search the artists for where the artist name equals whatever that input value was. Now, this is only going to do an exact check. So if there's a spelling mistake, it's still going to add the record. So you can make this more complicated later on, but for the sake of this tutorial, let's just keep it simple. So when this count is 0, meaning a record was not found, it is going to add that record. Then I need to set the state of that button so I can show that it has been saved to saved. So what I'm going to do to magnify this so you can actually see it on screen is I'm going to add a little pause in here. Pause before the next action. I'm going to pause it for 2 seconds just so you can see the actual button change. So it's going to change that to saved. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another pause here because I want to reset that button so they can actually click on it again. I'm going to set that state of the button. I'm just going to leave it blank. So a couple of other things here. Depending on how complex it is to save that record, you can do some other neat things where you can say this element is not clickable. So that means they won't be able to click this button twice. So I'm going to actually put that in all of these as well. So just to prevent the user from clicking the button multiple times. So what this should do is this should allow me to add a record. So I can click the Add Artist pop-up, say New Artist. So it's saving, it's been saved, and now it's going to reset itself. Okay, let's put the error in there. So creating a new artist, it's only going to create a new one when it's not found. So in order to do this so the workflow doesn't get confused, I only want to set this saved state if there is a result. So if this result is not empty, that means it added a record, and that's what I want. That's when I want to set the saved state. Now I need to do the opposite for the error state. So if I want to set the button to be error, Save. So I want to set the state to match what I put in that condition, which is just simply the word error. But I want this to happen when that result is empty. So that means if the artist is already found, this will not create, meaning this record, this output from this step will be empty. And it will skip this step, it will look at this step, and it will say, hey, that was empty, so I'm going to set this to error. And now I'm going to leave this pause at the end, and then it's going to set it back to the default. So let's give this a shot. Let's reload this page. Click on Add Artist. I'm going to use the same new artist name that I added before. Saving. That artist already exists. Try again. Okay, so that's all there is to it. You can customize this as much as you want. You can use text, you can use different error messages. If you're using the hero icon set, you can actually put icons inside the button to make it look a little bit nicer. And then depending on how complicated your saving workflow needs to be, you could do a fuzzy search, for example, and you could say, oh, we think similar artists exist. Did you mean to use one of these? You can add on to this as you need to. But if you just need a simple UI where the button will notify people, it's actually a lot easier to manage. You don't need to use extra panels and things like that. This will hopefully help you out. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for checking it out.